Top 5 hidden KDE Plasma features that will change how you use Linux. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're a Linux user running KDE Plasma, I want to ask you something. How well do you actually know your desktop? Most people install Plasma, tweak the theme, maybe set up a couple of virtual desktops, and then call it a day. And honestly, that's fine. But here's the thing. KDE Plasma is one of the deepest desktop environments ever built for Linux, and there's a whole layer of power sitting right underneath the surface that most users never touch. Today, I'm walking you through 5 genuinely underrated features that advanced Plasma users swear by. Whether you're fairly new to Linux or you've been running it for years, I guarantee at least one of these is going to change how you work. Let's get into it.
Feature 1. KDE Activities, your secret weapon for workspace organization. All right, let's start with one that surprises almost everyone the first time they hear about it, KDE Activities. Now, you're probably already using virtual desktops. You've got your browser on one, your terminal on another, maybe a chat app somewhere else. That's great. But Activities take things a massive step further. Think of each activity as its own, completely isolated world. It has its own set of virtual desktops, its own wallpaper, its own desktop widgets, everything. Switching between activities is like stepping into an entirely different working environment. Nothing carries over unless you want it to. The practical use case here is huge. Imagine having one activity dedicated entirely to work, with a to-do list widget, your work apps pinned exactly where you want them, and a professional wallpaper to keep you in the zone. Then you have a completely separate activity for personal use, your music, your gaming shortcuts, a completely different layout. No more mixing personal and professional life on the same screen. To set this up, head to Settings, Apps and Windows, Activities. From there, you can create new activities, name them, and configure each one independently. Once you've got a couple set up, you can jump between them instantly using SuperAQ. It's one of those features that sounds simple until you actually start using it, and then you can't imagine going back.
Feature 2. KWin Window Rules. Stop manually placing your apps every single time. Okay, this next one is going to save you a frustrating amount of repetitive work every day. Here's the situation. You open Spotify, it launches in some random corner of your screen, and you have to drag it, resize it, and move it to the right virtual desktop every single time. Sound familiar? Yeah, it's annoying. KWin Window Rules are the solution. This is a built-in KDE feature that lets you define exactly how a specific application should behave the moment it opens. We're talking about its size, its position on screen, which virtual desktop it lands on, which activity it belongs to, and whether it opens maximized or minimized. You set it once, and from that point forward, the application just does what you told it to, every single time. To create a rule, go to System Settings, Window Management, Window Rules. Click Add New, and select the application you want to control. From there, you have a full list of behaviors you can lock in. A really useful combo here is pairing this with KDE Activities. For instance, telling Discord to always open on your second virtual desktop inside your work activity, or configuring your browser to always snap to the left half of your screen while your Notes app snaps to the right. Instant split view productivity setup. Automated.
Feature 3. KRunner. Way more than just an app launcher. If you've been using KRunner just to launch apps, you've been leaving a lot on the table. For those who don't know, KRunner is that search bar that pops up when you press Alt plus space. Most people type an app name, hit Enter, and that's it. But KRunner is actually a full command bar with a plugin system underneath it. Out of the box, you can use KRunner to do unit conversions. Just type something like 15 miles in kilometers, and you'll get the answer immediately. You can do math, you can look up definitions, you can even kill unresponsive processes by searching for them by name. One of the most useful things for everyday use is browser history and bookmark search. If you've got the right plugin enabled, you can start typing a few words from a page title, and KRunner will surface it directly. No need to open the browser, click the address bar, dig through history. It just comes up. To see everything KRunner can do, go to System Settings, Workspace, Search, Plasma Search. You'll find a full list of available plugins. Toggle on the ones that match how you work: calculator, browser integration, dictionary, spell check, and more. You can also mark your most used plugins as favorites, so their results always show up at the top. Once you start using KRunner as a full command interface rather than just a launcher, it genuinely speeds up your workflow.
Feature 4. The Plasma Clipboard Manager. It's not just a history log. Alright, this one is where things get genuinely impressive. Most operating systems have some form of clipboard history these days. Press a shortcut, see what you've recently copied, click one to paste it. KDE Plasma does all of that too. Press Super+V to pull up your clipboard history, and you'll see everything you've copied, whether it's text, images, or file paths. It's fully searchable, and you can star specific entries to pin them permanently at the top so your most used snippets are always within reach. There's even a built-in mini text editor inside the Clipboard Manager, so you can tweak an entry before pasting it. That alone is useful. But the real power is in the automated action system.
You can set up rules using regular expressions, called regex, that trigger automatically whenever something you copy matches a pattern. For example, every time you copy a URL, it can automatically open it in your browser. Every time you copy a piece of code matching a certain pattern, it can run a custom script on it. You define the pattern, you define the action, and it just fires without you having to do anything manually. There's also a select to copy mode, where simply highlighting text with your cursor adds it to the clipboard. No Control-C needed. To explore all of this, open the Clipboard Manager from your system tray and head into its settings. The automation options are under the Actions tab. This feature turns the clipboard from a passive history log into an active part of your workflow. Feature 5. KDE Connect's Run Command feature. Control your PC from your phone. And finally, my personal favorite and one of the most underrated things in the entire KDE ecosystem. You've probably heard of KDE Connect. It's the app that connects your Linux PC and your smartphone, letting you transfer files, mirror notifications, use your phone as a remote trackpad, all very useful stuff. But buried inside KDE Connect is a feature called Run Command, and it's genuinely powerful. What it lets you do is define a list of terminal commands on your PC, and then trigger any one of them from your phone with a single tap. That's it. You set up the commands once, and then they're available right from your phone's KDE Connect app.
So what can you do with this? Anything you can do from a terminal. Put your PC to sleep, shut it down, lock the screen, toggle your VPN, kill a specific process, launch Steam directly into big picture mode before you sit down on the couch, mount a network drive, run a backup script, whatever you want. To set it up, install KDE Connect on your phone, pair it with your desktop, and then open the desktop KDE Connect settings and go to the Run Commands plugin. Add your commands there, give them readable names, and they'll show up on your phone immediately. You can even add a home screen widget on your phone for one-tap access to your most common commands. For anyone who wants deeper control, this is a great reason to start exploring basic bash scripting, because the more you know about the terminal, the more you can automate from anywhere. And there you have it, 5 KDE Plasma features that most users walk right past without ever realizing what they're capable of. To recap real quick, Activities for fully isolated workspace environments, KWin Window Rules to automate how your apps open, KRunner as a proper command interface, the Clipboard Manager's automation system, and KDE Connect's Run Command feature for controlling your desktop remotely. If even one of these changes how you use your desktop, that's a win. Drop a comment below and let me know which one you're going to try first. I'm genuinely curious. And if you found this useful, hitting the like button really does help this channel grow. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.